Babe, I'm having some problems because I feel like you're trying to get all this distance from me. And I don't really understand it because you're not telling me why. Anytime I text you now, you take hours to respond. Sometimes you won't respond all night, and then the next morning you'll give me some excuse like you fell asleep, which I know isn't true. You're booking side jobs every weekend. We used to hang out on the weekends, and I just feel like you don't want to be around me anymore. Okay, so what you need to understand is that taking distance and space is my coping mechanism. I use what are called deactivation strategies. So essentially, when I become activated by emotional intimacy, I have to use a deactivation strategy. I developed this in childhood when things were chaotic in my home. So let's say my parents were fighting or some kind of chaos was going on in my childhood home. I would use a deactivation strategy. So maybe I would just leave the house and I wouldn't come home all night and I would just go and hang out with my friend. Or I would get a new hobby that I could pour all my time into. Or I would focus on an addiction. Anything that would give me physical and emotional distance from all the chaos that was happening at home. Okay, so what does that have to do with me? I'm not chaotic. I love you. I'm consistent. I show up for you. I just don't get it. The thing is, emotional intimacy and vulnerability is my biggest fear. I fear that I'm not going to measure up, that I'm going to keep disappointing you and not meeting your needs, and at some point you're going to reject and abandon me. I've noticed as our relationship has progressed that you're needing more and more from me. You text me all the time and you come to me with these needs that I feel like I can't meet. You're wanting all this intimacy from me. You feel like our sex isn't intimate enough. You feel like I'm not romantic enough. You feel like I'm not consistent enough with my time. What you don't understand is all these things require vulnerability and emotional intimacy. Those are things that I don't know how to grasp. Because I can see myself not meeting your needs, it's causing a conflict in my mind, and it's forcing me to need to use my deactivation strategies to deal with that conflict. Okay, so explain it a little more because I don't really fully get it. Okay, so let's take the text that you sent me a couple days ago, for instance. You sent me a text saying that you wished that I would be more romantic, that I would remember to buy you flowers, that we would kiss more, that we would have more emotional intimacy. And when I saw that text, it just reminded me that I'm not meeting those emotional needs for you. That brings up a lot of shame within me because I don't know how to meet those emotional needs. So what happens is when I start feeling that shame, I start feeling the fear that I'm not going to be able to meet your needs, and at some point you're going to reject me. So then I reach into my pocket for a deactivation strategy. Those strategies can be me taking off and not texting you back for hours because I'm just putting off the inevitable. It can be me booking a side job so I'm distracted and have something else to do. It can be me getting on dating apps or trying to form a new relationship so I can feel better. It can be me using an addiction or some kind of substance. It can be me using pornography. It can be me fantasizing about a Phantom X. It's essentially anything that will help me avoid the feelings that I'm feeling in this relationship, the fear and the conflict that I'm feeling about not meeting your needs. I guess that does pretty much sum up exactly what's happening. So now what? Well, the more that I use these deactivation strategies, the more it's going to activate your attachment needs. The further I pull away, the closer you're going to try to get. And at some point, it's going to break me. And all these deactivation strategies I've been trying to use simply won't work, and I'll use the biggest one of all, which is abruptly leaving you.